Hello, welcome back to the channel Bookstack. My name is Joshua Hansen. I know it's been forever since I've posted, but I'm just now getting back into writing and recording video, and I'm excited about the next phase of this channel. If you check out my website, mybookstack.com, you'll see one of my recent posts was on the concept of deep work and how important it is if we're going to be creating meaningful things in society. This post, of course, is based off of Cal Newport's book, Deep Work, and this concept really struck me as a meaningful way to make contributions, to put out work which is actually helpful and valuable, rather than something you're just kind of kicking out there just for the sake of producing something. And he talks very specifically about what counts as deep work. Most people spend most of their day actually performing shallow work, or things which are kind of run-of-the-mill, things which aren't pushing your cognitive ability, things which are easily duplicatable, replicatable, which don't really have much value. They're essentially just run-of-the-mill, everyday items that people are just kind of coasting through the day. That's what classifies as shallow work, and it's something which gets in the way of our deep work, undermines our ability to create things of value, and really should be minimized and compartmentalized as much as possible. Deep work, on the other hand, are professional activities performed in a distraction-free environment which push our cognitive abilities, which increase skill, and are not easily replicatable. What that means is someone can't just come along and reproduce our work without putting in the same amount of effort and time spent doing that work in a distraction-free manner. That's not necessarily easy to do. So you could think of deep work not only as the work that you're doing, the type of work, but it's also the way that we work. Again, it's really difficult in today's noisy world to find a place of distraction-free concentration, a place where we can actually focus on what we're doing, be locked in, to find that zone and that flow state, that we're producing something right at the limit of our cognitive ability, where we're kind of stretching ourselves and pushing ourselves. Think of it as, we're in the deep end of the pool and our toes can barely touch the ground. They're on the ground, but we're moving right at the edge. And it's making us better. So the next time we've developed new skill and new capability, we've essentially increased our ability to perform that task. And if we repeat that over and over and over again, that capability will just continue to increase. And that's when we look at people and we're like, man, how are you so good at this particular activity? One of the ways is they've spent so much time in that deep work state, that flow state, practicing and producing, that now the work that seems almost impossible to other people seems like just everyday work to them. As our economy becomes more globalized and we are kind of competing on a global scale with other people and other industries, the ability to work at a deep work scale is going to be increasingly important. Eric Baker describes deep work as the superpower of the 21st century. Totally agree. We're living in an information age, as everyone knows. We have everything at our fingertips. It's easy to get cheap value, to get cheap pieces of information or cheap processing or opinion puff pieces. That is going to become increasingly important and valuable for those who are able to take that information, to take those concepts and turn them into something of value, to turn them into something which people can actually use and act on. And if you have that ability, to convert cheap random information into something meaningful and valuable, that's the way that you're going to survive in this global economy. One thing I love about deep work is it's not only more effective in the sense that you're going to be getting results you wouldn't have otherwise received if you do deep work, it's also more efficient. If you find that you can set aside the time to be distraction free, and to really lock in and work on whatever piece of work you're working on, whether it's art or it's writing or it's choreography, whatever it is you find yourself doing, if you can find a way to set aside that time to focus on that task, not only will you get better results, the results will also be more efficient. You'll find you're able to get more work done, and the quality of that work will be at a far higher level than if you were just pushing out cheap little pieces of work here and there. Probably because you'll find that you won't have to go back and redo the work or do so many more pieces. In other words, the value of one quality book can far outstrip writing 10 subpar books. So finding the time to really produce wonderful pieces of valuable work will not only be more effective in the long run, but you'll find it's more efficient, that it takes less operative hours than it would doing cheap work. If you find yourself like me, sometimes I find myself just completely distracted all the time, or trying to do meaningful work while the TV's on, or while music plays, or while I have all these distractions going. I got kids in the background and everything going on. If you're like me, you'll find that that's just not an effective way. You'll spend 3 hours on something which probably should have taken you half an hour, and in 3 hours you look through and you realize you got to redo half of it. So that's where that efficiency and effectiveness piece come together in the concept of deep work. All right, so how do we do deep work? What are some basic tenets, some basic concepts? And we'll talk a little bit more about some of these ideas in future videos. One is finding a place that is conducive to thought, conducive to concentration, a place that you can really zone in, where you feel like you're locked in and you're able to really switch your mind over into this full concentration deep work mode. This may mean setting the environment. Do you like light? Do you like low light? Do you like soft music? No music? Do you need something scented? Do you need to have all the screens in the room off? Do you need a room in your house with no screen so that you're completely locked in if you're reading material? What does that environment look like that is going to allow you to perform at your most optimum? As hard as this is in today's society, work on one thing at a time. One thing at a time. You can read slews of articles, many videos. The idea of multitasking is a joke. It just doesn't work. Your brain is switching from one task to the other over and over and over, and your brain actually experiences something called switching fatigue. As it's continuing to switch between different tasks and making different decisions and trying to pick up where it left off, you're constantly fatiguing your brain and undermining its ability to do deep work. Find time where you can focus on one thing that you're going to say, I'm going to work on this task until completion, or I'm going to work on this task for a defined period of time, and when I'm done, then I'll move on to the next thing. If you're trying to multitask, that's going to completely undermine your ability to do deep work. Don't be on social media, don't have YouTube playing, don't have a thing in the background. You might think these things are really helping you, but they're not. You really should train yourself on the ability to focus on a task without having other distracting things in the background. I know you think it's going to help you concentrate, but really long term, it drastically undermines your ability to concentrate. It also undermines your ability to just switch into this mode very quickly. If you find that you're always having these distractions on when it comes time to do deep work, you'll find your brain is looking for opportunities to distract itself. It's looking for these distractions, and it's going to be really preventing you from really locking in and keying in on the task that you're trying to accomplish. Ultimately, what deep work allows us to do is operate at an elite level. It really pushes us to our extreme. And even if we're not where we want to be, performing deep work over and over again will allow us to practice in a meaningful way the tasks or the skills that we want to become better at. That will allow us to be better next time, allow us to be better the next time and the next time, because we're pushing our skills, we're pushing our cognitive ability right to the very edge, and essentially we're expanding the horizons of our capabilities. And that's how we're going to continue to increase our capabilities, continue to improve, and get to that level that we want to be. For instance, this year I want to be a much better writer, I want to be a better speaker, a better presenter, a better teacher. Those are the things I'm focusing on. And so whenever I'm writing or I'm recording a video or I'm writing a script, I'm doing the best I can to be distraction free as I'm accomplishing those goals, so I can push myself and really feel myself growing and developing, that I'm in the gym and I'm working out the muscles of writing, I'm working out the muscles of presenting. And if I'm not doing that, then I'm not going to be better next time. And if I'm not better next time, then I may not be better in a year. And I'm just going to be kind of stuck at my current level. And I don't want that. I really want to be effective in my teaching, effective in my writing. I want it to be able to accomplish the goals that I set out for. And the only way I'm going to do that is by diving into deep work, by creating things which are not easily repeatable, that aren't easily replicatable, that are meaningful and valuable, and are pushing me to my cognitive ability. And that's deep work. All right, so that's it for this video. I hope that you really found it helpful. I hope there were some key insights in here that'll help you become more elite in the skills you're trying to develop. If you did find it helpful, would love to hear about it in the comments below. If you think it would help other people, feel free to share. And thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you in the next one.